What is up, YouTube? Ruben here, and today I'm going to review one of these Dell Latitudes before the D something 20 or the X20, which relates to the D420, D520, D620, or the D820. This one is before the D620, and this computer right here is the Dell Latitude D610. So, one of these laptops with this design are known to be good. Remember, business desktops or business laptops mean higher end specs. In this case, it may, but usually business laptops that have Ddr2 Ram should have at least 1 or 2 gigabytes of RAM and at least an 80 gig hard drive. This is the lowest end or low end business laptop. I'll tell you the specs later in the video. So let's go ahead and get started. I know that on the left here, we're not going to do that at the moment until I finish the front. Speaking of which, we have the speaker grills and then we have the latch. Very interesting latch, to be honest. Because if you look at the D600, it also uses the same latch, which is interesting. Now, I can show you the left. On the left, we got the D-Bay DVD burner or DVD drive. Now, this is interesting. You can actually swap any of these out using either a second battery or a second hard drive bay. All you do is push this button, then slide it out. There's no screws for it, unless you did if you bought one of these laptop screws. And here we go, we got the D-Bay drive. Now to install it, all you do is just push it in and then push the button, and that's it. And right here we got 2 USB 2.0 ports. Now on the back we got the Ethernet port, S-video port. This one has 2 more USB ports, so they're all 2.0. We got modem, this is 56K, parallel, serial, and VGA, along with the DC in jack. It uses PA 9 or something, or PA 12. And right here we got the cooling vent. And then right here we got, you guessed it, a Kensington lock. Right here we got the headphone and microphone ports. If I got mixed up, I suppose. This one has an infrared port, which you can use it for like remotes or something. And right here we have the PCM CIA slot right beneath that piece. Actually, under that slot is the smart card reader, and way down to the bottom is the hard drive caddy. So now, the top. On the top we have the Dell logo. I need to turn on my torch for it. Here are the indicator lights, which includes power, hard drive, and battery charge indicators. So now I'll get you to the inside. Here inside the laptop we got the magnificent 14-inch standard definition anti-glare screen. So that means when you're outside facing towards the sun, you can still see the screen. At least not for blind people, because they won't be able to see it. Right here we got the Latitude D610 designation, the volume down and up buttons, the mute button. we got the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, which does not have Bluetooth at this point, keyboard indicators, which includes the num lock, caps lock, and scroll lock, the power button. Yes, you got the Dell logo. And I suppose this must be, yeah, a tiny little button to close the laptop. And I showed you guys the indicators. Keyboard, the trackpad. Yes, it does have the track point with the clicky buttons for the track point. Of course, it is reversible. And right here you got the stickers for the Intel Pentium M and Windows XP. So now I'll show you guys the bottom. Way on the bottom we have the docking port with the battery charging pads, which are these circles right here. Not the screws, but these circles. That means they can charge the battery directly from the pads to the actual battery. Right here we got all the necessary stuff that Dell uses, and way down here, if my camera will actually do anything, we have the service tag and the express service code. You can look up the service tag if you want. Don't look up for the express service code, it's already included when you look it up. Right here we got the Dell battery with the battery indicator, which is nice because that means you can tell how much life you have left on your battery. Right here we got the hard drive caddy, and right here we got the Windows XP Pro sticker, which I'm covering up because it does have Windows XP installed with the key activated. And right here we got the RAM door, and right here we got the modem plus CMOS battery door. And right here we got the bottom vent. The rubber pads are still intact, so that means it doesn't even move. Now these laptops are known to be the longest lasting Dell laptops in history because of these rubber pads instead of using cheap pads. So rubber pads is a good thing. So let's go ahead and tell you the specs. Also, I don't want to forget, this computer, or this laptop anyway, has the Strike Zone label on it. Many Dell laptops from this era all the way to around, I believe 2015 or 16, they used Dell's Strike Zone to protect your hard drive. I believe they still use the Strike Zone today. I don't know if they have one of these on the Dell XPS line or the Dell G series line, which the G series stands for gaming. Plus, I don't even have a Dell G3 or something, or G7. But I'm not talking about like the Dell gaming series laptops of any sort. Most of these newer Inspirons may have the Strike Zone label. Right, I'll tell you the specs. Okay, it's time for the specs. So this one has a 1.6 GHz Intel Pentium M, and yes, this is one of these laptops that use the Pentium M rather than the Intel Pentium 4 Mobile. Just before they released the Core Duo, and then actually the Core 2 Duo back in 2007. This is actually the laptop variant of the standard Pentium D, which released in 2006. Now, if you have the revision 1, you have the older Intel logo, which, yes, they most likely use it on Pentium 3s or Pentium 2s or way back to the 90s. If you have the revision 2, you have the newer Intel logo, which still has the Pentium M, but it may have some sort of hyper-threaded Pentium 4 if you install it. A Pentium M is recommended for any Dell laptop with this generation, especially the D600. This one has 512 megabytes of Ddr2 RAM. That's right, kids. DDR2 in 2005. Yes, that one has DDR2 PC2 3200. So it's actually 400 megahertz. So that means this is the time where DDR2 actually exists before they stopped using it in 2010 when they switched to DDR3. And it has a 40 gig IDE hard drive and it's running Windows XP Professional Service Pack 3. So let's go ahead and boot this thing up. And I need to grab my Dell charger, so I'll be back. Okay, it is now ready to boot this thing up. The battery is non-functional and the CMOS battery has never charged. Yeah, it has a rechargeable battery, but this one needs more power. Plus, it requires a working battery to actually work. So, with that being said, as UXW Bill says, smoke test. I should have done something crazy, right? Yeah, the time of day is not set. So I'm going to hit up 2 to set the date. Now it's running BIOS version AL3. I am not sure if it's the latest BIOS. The BIOS is from 2005, which is the original BIOS. Yeah, this is the original BIOS. So this laptop's from 2005, which is kind of interesting. The D610 was released in 2003 and 2004. Again, it has a 1.6 GHz Pentium M. 2 megabytes of cache? Yeah, it gets crazy. We got 512 megabytes of Ddr2 Ram, and yes, it is 400 megahertz, so this is DDR400. It has a 40 gig hard drive. It has Intel 915 GM graphics, 8 megabytes, as shown in the BIOS, but it's actually running at 128 megabytes. And it is a 1024 by 768 XGA screen, and yes, it is a 14-inch, as I stated before. It has a Sigmatil 9751 audio controller, connects in D110 modem, and it has Dell wireless, and it is a 65-watt charger, and yes, I'm using the Dell charger from the Chromebook. Battery info, again, it's never gonna work. Here's the date and time, which is incorrect. It is not March 2nd, 2005. It's actually April 7th, 2019. So, let me go ahead and set the date and time, but before I do, any plans? No. Never gonna put the settings in here. Okay, that's it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and set the date and time on the BIOS. After that, I'm gonna boot Windows up. So I'll be back. Okay, so the date and time has been set, so let's go ahead and exit. So let's boot into Windows XP. There you go, good old Windows XP. is taking a long time. Okay, let's hit enter. There you go, good old Windows XP logon sound. So there you go, this is the desktop. So I'm going to right click my computer. And hit properties. As you can see, it is running Windows XP Professional Service Pack 3. Again, it's a Dell Latitude D610 Intel Pentium M running at 1.6 gigahertz, 504 megabytes because it's the graphics who is doing that. And it has physical address extension because this one will support up to 4 gigabytes of RAM and will go up to as far as PC2 5300. And make sure it's non-ECC RAM. Go ahead and close it. Here guys, the hard drive. And again, it has Wi-Fi. Right here, if I hover it up, we can see they only got 37.1 gigabytes, so it's a 40 gig hard drive because formatting. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and I'll be back. Okay, let's run some programs. Let's go ahead and run Microsoft Office Word 2003. There you go. I'm going to close that because it is using 512 megabytes. Old computers. Let's go ahead and open up OpenOffice.org Writer, or simply OpenOffice Writer. If you looked up my HP Compact Elite 8300 USDT video, the review video, that particular computer has LibreOffice. And as you can see, we are running OpenOffice Writer. Okay, let's go ahead and run the famous photo editor that no one should see in Windows XP these days. If I can close that. Old computers, everyone. Yeah, I remember seeing this. Oh, there we go. It's going to open up one of the famous photo editors that YouTubers still use today, Adobe Photoshop. And this one has CS3, which is kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and open up the famous photo editor that YouTubers use these days, Adobe Photoshop CS3. There we go. It is the extended version. They also have a Mac version as well. And there you go. If you remember the video I did about the HP Compact 6710B, the camera wouldn't even focus on the text, which is kind of odd. In this situation, it is actually showing some text pretty nicely. A little bit, but okay, I digress. But it is a 14-inch screen rather than the 15-inch, which are known to get blurry on my phone's camera. Okay, let me go ahead and show you guys the programs installed on this machine, so I'll be back. For the programs that are being installed, we got Adobe Creative Suite 3 or CS3, and it's using the Design Premium, which means it will include Adobe InDesign. And here you can read the rest. I want to read the entire line of programs and slow down as I can. It has Firefox 3.0, which is too old for these days, especially since Firefox 3.0 is no longer supported and makes it useless. So there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the graphics, which of course I never end videos without it, even though I already said that in the BIOS. So I'll be back. So there you go, we got Intel graphics. It is actually the Intel 915 GM and not the Intel 910. And right here we got 128 megabytes of memory. So there you go. And listen to this old hard drive. Let's crank it up. Yeah, good old hard drive. It's an IDE drive. Okay, let's go ahead and exit. So now it's time for the conclusion. So, in conclusion, is it worth it? Probably not, because no one uses Windows XP anymore. Plus, 128 megabytes of graphics is not enough these days for what I understand, because of how old this laptop is. Especially since I'm using Windows XP. Yeah, they never use it anymore, because they most likely use Windows 7, 8.1, and 10. So there you go. So what's coming up next? So since we already reviewed the Dell Optiplex, not the Dell Optiplex, the Dell Latitude D610. We have the Dell Optiplex GX520, and I also have the Compact Desk Pro desktop. So there you go, people. Also, Ddr2 actually existed in 2005, which is nice, even though they still had the Pentium 4s and Pentium Ms at the time, especially some older Celerons. So there you go. And the design is actually nice. It's using magnesium instead of plastic. Yes, cheap plastic. It's actually using magnesium, which means it is known to be a business laptop because it has advanced features such as the parallel port, serial port, VGA port for like projectors or so, or old computer screens or something like that. And it also has a smart card reader, which you can actually insert anything, any card that has support for smart card capabilities. So there you go, people. This is the end of the review, so that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon. That means you can get notified whenever I upload new videos, or simply doing a live stream, which I don't even do much anymore, but I will try to do so if I get my HP G7 back up and running for live streaming. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at RubenAparicio17. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Ruben the Transit Fan. Yes, I am back up and running at Instagram now. I've done that on Saturday. So, I am resuming Instagram now because in the past week I had issues posting photos on Instagram because of a bug that I had to deal with. So I was temporarily using Twitter for the replacement of Instagram during the process of resolving the issue. So just a heads up, there will be more videos coming soon, and there will be technically more tech videos, and I'm also going to do a new series that relates to the HP Compact 6710B, which includes Bluetooth and benchmarking. So there you go, people. I'm going to go ahead and end the video. So, if anything happens to me in one of the videos, let me know. As I always read your comments. Let me know if you have one of these. I know Ryan Gehret, aka Ddr2 which now named as Ryan Gehret as of 2017, has one of these D600s. I know it's not the same as a D610, but he actually has a D600. He also has a D500 as well. So if you want to check his videos out, I'll go ahead and put his link in the video description, the YouTube channel link. So if you're one of these people, I'll shout out to you, Ryan Gehret, in San Jose, so the San Francisco area. So there you go, people. I know it's getting long. I'm in 5 minutes now, so I'll see you next time. Okay, I should stop recording now.